All right, hey guys, welcome back. I am Caitlin, and today we are doing our Classical Conversations Cycle 1 prep video. So if you have watched my videos in the past, or maybe you've stumbled across one of the older videos this year as you're preparing, here is this year's video. I had so many messages about people asking if I was going to do another one and when that was going to happen. I was waiting for CC to release the Sandbox, which if you don't know what that is, I'm going to talk about it in a second. But I was waiting for them to release that before I put everything together with this video. But they released it yesterday, and so now I am ready to share all the things that I'm doing. So if you are new here, welcome. My name is Caitlin. I have been doing Classical Conversations. This will be our third year, and I love to organize things, and that's just kind of one of those things that I really enjoy. And so the first year I did CC, I just kind of on a whim made a video showing how I was organizing all of our stuff, and people loved it and then asked me to do another one last year and then again this year. So I continued to do it because I enjoy it and you guys like it. So this is this year's video. So for reference, my two kids who are in CC are 7 and 5, and so second grade, kindergarten-ish. So the things that I'm sharing as far as my prep are geared to those ages. So if you have younger kids, this is going to be really good for you. If you have older kids, some of this may not apply to you, but some of it will. If you have been around and you've watched my other videos, the beginning part of this video will be a lot of repeat stuff that you've seen in the past years, because a lot of it I'm just reusing the same ideas, just using them for this cycle. But then I do have several new things that I'll share in the second half of the video, so make sure you at least watch that part. So, all right, let's get started. Oh, also, if you are new to CC, like brand spanking new, don't know much about CC itself, before you watch this video where I'm preparing all the things and sharing all of like how I organize this and how I print off that, please go watch my other video about what is Classical Conversations, like how does it work, and you know, what does the curriculum look like. Go watch that first so that you kind of have a frame of reference of what's going on here, and then come back and watch this video, because otherwise you're going to be really confused and maybe really overwhelmed. So go check that out first. All right, so first let's talk about the physical items to purchase from CC itself. So you should have already bought a foundations guide and a tin whistle. These are the only two things that you are required to purchase in order to be part of a Classical Conversations community and to do the curriculum. So this is on the website. By the way, everything I talk about, if I have a link to it, I link it in the description. There's a ton of links in the description. But this is the foundations guide. It is for all 3 cycles. So you buy this one time and then you use it every single year. You don't have to buy a new one every year. So I'll share about the tabs in a second, but you need to make sure you have this. And then also a tin whistle. CC sells some on their website. I buy mine from Amazon, and the link is in the description. So make sure you have those 2 things. Those are your must-haves. Then there are a few other things that I have purchased that I feel like are nice to have. When we joined Classical Conversations 2 years ago, I did a video showing my haul of things that I purchased. So I'll link to that so you can go check that out, but I'm going to show the majority of it here too. So we really like the maps that CC sells. So if you've watched my videos in the past, you know that I have purchased the placemat sized maps for my kids in the past. And those are nice. We do like those. However, I found that as they get older and we're more on the go, it's really nice to have these maps that are the trivium table version, because they fold up smaller and fit in a backpack. So if this is not a must, our community does this map challenge where the kids can practice tracing their maps, and if they do it a certain amount of time, they get a prize. My children are very motivated by that, and so they always want to participate, and so they use these just about every single day because they're tracing maps for the map challenge. If your community does not do that, or you don't think your kids are going to really be interested in that, you may choose not to get one of these. So that's going to be personalized. And real quick before I go on, I just want to share before we get long into this video. None of this stuff that I share today is something you have to do. Please do not feel like you have to do it. If it overwhelms you, skip it. If you want to do more than I do, that's fine too. But I'm just sharing some things that I like for my family, but please remember, you are the parent. It is your family. You know your kids best, so you pick what is good for you. And if printing off worksheets is not your jam, don't do it and don't feel guilty about it, okay? So just wanted to go there real quick. All right, so that's the maps. The other thing that a lot of people like to get are the timeline cards. This is what they look like, but there is a card for every item on the timeline song. That is not required. Some families never use them. They go all the way through CC and never get them, or they get them and they say we never use them, and so they recommend not getting them. Some people use them a ton and love them. So again, it's gonna depend on your family. I chose to go ahead and get them our first year. We do use them some. We display them. My kids like to look at them. Up until recently, I didn't have anybody who could read in my family. I mean, obviously, the adults. I mean, kid-wise. I didn't have anybody that could read, so they couldn't read the back. I had to read it to them. As they get older, I feel like we'll use them even more. But the timeline cards are something that a lot of people really enjoy. Now, it's confusing on CC's website because they sell them in 4 packs, and you need to get all 4 of them to span the whole entire timeline that you will use every single year. So if you're buying for the first time, it's not that one set goes with cycle 1 and one set goes with cycle 2 or anything like that. You need to get all 4 sets, but then you're done for all your cycles for all your years, just like the foundations guide. So, all right, now let's talk about organizing some of this stuff that you just purchased from CC. The first thing are these tabs. I tabbed each of the cycles in my foundations guide. So I have pink tabs, purple tabs, and blue tabs. So cycle 1, cycle 2, and cycle 3 are tabbed. I'm going to link to last year's video because I showed, like I flipped it around and showed exactly where I tabbed them. It's 8 minutes into the video, so you can skip on to minute 8 and then watch that part, so I don't have to redo that in this video. I will say this, I don't use the tabs very much at all. When I was brand new to CC, I had no idea what this guide meant. I didn't know what all these different things were, and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to find anything, tab all the things. So I bought the tabs and I spent my time tabbing everything. Honestly, I wish I just waited. And now that I'm familiar with the setup of the book, it's really easy for me to find stuff. I don't need a whole entire tab to find, you know, the artists from cycle 1 and the composers from cycle 1. I could easily flip to those and find them. So my recommendation would be, don't worry about putting all these tabs on your foundations guide if you're brand new, and give it a few months or maybe even your first year and see if you even need them. But if you're like me and you love to tab things and you love to organize things, go for it. I have the tabs linked in the description, so you can buy them from Amazon if you want them to match mine. All right, now let's talk about the timeline cards and how to store them. That seems to be the #1 question that I get, like in the comments of this video and like in my messages when people will email me and message me asking about my box for the timeline cards. Okay, I store my timeline cards in this box right here. I got it from Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago. And I had a link to it in past videos because it was on their website. That link no longer works. The box does not appear to be on the website. I don't know where you can get it. Maybe you can't anymore. So I'm going to show you like some other options and give you like some other ideas on how to find one. This is what mine looks like. Here's the timeline cards. This is actually like storage in the back here. So there's a lot of room in there. The box is bigger than it needs to be, but I have plenty of room. But I bought these tabs on Amazon, and those are still on Amazon as of me filming this video because I checked last night. I'll link to those, but it's 31 tabs, and so I put the week's timeline cards behind that week. So week 1 has the 7 timeline cards behind it, and week 2 has that 7, all the way up to week 24. So when I get ready to put my timeline cards up there, I just pull out the week, clip them up there, and I'm gonna show you all this in a minute, and then the next week switch them out. Or if my kids wanna look through them, you know, they can file them back in, whatever. And there's more tabs than are needed. So if I were to get the artist cards or the scientist cards at some point, I could store those and have plenty of room. I don't have those cards yet. I've not felt like that was something we needed to get. That might be something we get, like we'll be starting over next year, our second tour through the cycles. Maybe we'll do it next year, maybe we won't, I don't know. But that'll be nice, I can put them in there. So like I said, this box came from Hobby Lobby, but is not apparently sold anymore at Hobby Lobby, but surely you can find something similar. Basically what you want to look for is something that's going to fit a 5x7 card. These are 5x7, so if it fits a 5x7 index card, it will fit a 5x7 timeline card. And then, you know, you need it to be wide enough to fit maybe 5 inches or so worth of cards. So I'm gonna show you some other ones from around my house that would fit the card. So this is a different Sterilite bin. I've had this one since college, I think. So I'm sure this specific one is not sold, but a different Sterilite container that clips, that fits it. This is a box from IKEA that they will sit in. It doesn't have a lid, so they would just sit there and be exposed, but they do fit in this box from IKEA. This is a different box from IKEA that they fit in, and they would fit with the lid closed, so you could store them in that. Those are some options. If it's something that stores 5x7 index cards, it's going to fit your timeline cards. So I found a like a file box on Amazon that is specifically for 5x7 index cards. That is linked in the description. The rest of this stuff, like most of it, I've had for a while, so I don't even know if I can link it, but I know that that particular file box is on Amazon as of right now, so I'll link to that, and it's got a lid and it fits the timeline cards. I know that it does because there are other CC moms that use that particular box. I'm gonna link to that. Now, if a box is not your thing, some people like to put them in 3-ring binders with page protectors. They make small 3-ring binders. I mean, I think CC sells them on their website, but you can also purchase them from other places, and little page protectors, and they slide them in there so that their kids can flip through them. So that's an option. Some people hole punch, like in the corner of the card. They hole punch them and put them on those little rings, those silver rings, so their kids can flip through them. I've seen a bunch of different storage methods. Some people store them in those pencil pouches that have like the zipper and the clear thing with the 3 rings that you can clip into a binder. So lots of different ways to store them, but this is just what I prefer because it keeps them organized by week, which works for us with the way we have our memory work set up. So there's timeline cards. Sorry that went on for a while, but I just get a lot of questions about that, so I wanted to give as good an answer as I could. All right, now let's talk about some digital resources from CC that you might want. One is the app. They have an app. It is, I think, $16, and there's a different app for each cycle. So each cycle you would purchase a new app, but then when you go through it again, you'll be able to reuse that app. So that's nice. But the app has the memory work on it. We do use that. I don't use for all of the memory work. We mostly use it for the history sentences because we like to sing the songs with them. On the years that Latin has songs with them, we use it for that. We like to listen to the president's song on there because it flips through the presidents and you can see them as you're singing it. So we don't use it for all the memory work, but we use it for several, enough that I feel like I want to have it on my phone because it's handy to have. So there's the app. There's also, you can get CDs or digital downloads of the CDs of the memory work. So there are 3 different CDs or 3 different digital albums. Is that what they're called? I don't know. There's one where it's grouped by subject. So it will do science, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, you know, all through the science, and then English or whatever. There's one where it's by week. So it would do week 1, it would run through all of the memory work for week 1, and then week 2. And then there's one that has like supplemental stuff. It has the timeline song on it, it has the president's song on it. So really, I don't know anybody, well, I mean, I'm sure there are people. Most people do not get the app and the CDs. They pick whichever one they feel like is best suited for them. What I do is I get the app because we sit together here at the house and do our memory work together. So it's really easy for me to go through the app and do that. And then I did buy the CD that has the timeline song on it. I don't buy the other ones, but I did buy the one, or we got the digital version. But anyway, the one that has the timeline song because we wanted to have that to sing with the kids. So I don't get the other ones that have the memory work. Now, if my kids, if we had like a really long drive to CC or to church, or I had kids in sports and we were in the car all the time, and I felt like we were gonna do our memory work practice in the car, then I would probably not use the app because that would not be very easy to use while driving, and instead get the digital downloads or the CDs. My van does not have a CD player, but if yours does, then do that. But I would get the digital copy and we could listen to that as we're driving. And I would probably go with the one that was by week. That way, as we're driving to wherever, you know, driving to ball practice, we could listen to week 2, run through it real quick, get our practice in. So really it depends on your lifestyle and what works for you. But for us, having the app is good. And then, like I said, we bought, my first year, I bought the timeline song, and then we just, you know, that doesn't change. So I haven't had to purchase that again in any other years. So we get those 2 things. There's also something called CC Connected, and that is a subscription service that Classical Conversations offers. It is $6 a month if you're part of a community, $3 a month if you're a tutor, I believe. I'm not a tutor, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And then it costs more if you're not part of a community, but it's a subscription service. So you would pay monthly if you want to. You could just do it for a month and then quit, but you would pay monthly, and that gives you access to some things that CC puts out, as well as a file sharing area that is for anybody who has CC Connected. So other parents will upload worksheets and just all sorts of graphics, songs, all sorts of things that they make are uploaded there, and then you can download and use those for yourself. So it's a very old, like, it's not very user-friendly. It's kind of a pain to sort through. So I don't love it, but I love that the other parents have shared their stuff. And so I deal with that to get the worksheets and things that people share. So I do recommend maybe at least doing 1 month just so you can see what is there, and then decide if it's something you want to keep subscribing to for the whole year or whatever. But CC Connected is really, really helpful because, like, I'm good at making these organizational videos. I'm not good at making worksheets. So I stick to this and I let you guys make the worksheets, and then I just print them off and tell you about them. Anyway, so that is a really nice a resource that we have. So speaking of CC Connected, let's talk about what specifically I downloaded from there this year. And I know for a lot of you, that's what you're here for this video, is what did I pick for cycle 1 to download? Because like I said, CC Connected is kind of a hot mess. It's not very well organized. It's not very easily searchable. It's just a ton of files that people put up there. I feel like I'm back in college in the early 2000s when we had, you know, like message boards and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, so it's kind of a lot to try to wade through. So I do that for you, and then I share with you what I picked out, and that way it makes it easy for you to go and find those things. So the first thing we'll talk about are some of the memory work type things that we do. So if you've watched my old videos, this is all gonna be very, very familiar to you. So the first one is a Flipbook. So this is a 4x6 photo album with the memory work in it by weeks. The photo album came from Dollar Tree. That is important because most photo albums that you buy like at Walmart or Target or whatever are not gonna be big enough. For whatever reason, the ones Dollar Tree sells are the perfect size. So if you have a Dollar Tree, you can go grab one. They're $1, which is nice. If you don't, there is a CC parent who sells some on Amazon or through Amazon that are also the perfect size. So I'm gonna link those in the comments. That way if a Dollar Tree is not, you know, you don't live near one or whatever, you can still get the right size album. The little files that are in there, the specific ones I have are not sold. They're not on CC Connected anymore. This parent, I don't know if her kids have gotten older or whatever, she's not in CC anymore. So the specific ones I have are not there. However, there are still some there that other parents have made. And so I will put that username in the comments so that you can find them. But what I love is that they are JPEG files. And so you can just save them to your computer and then get them printed off as pictures to slide into the picture album. So there is no printing of your own or cutting of your own. Now, I get this question a lot. How do you do that? Well, however you typically print pictures is the best way. I do it through Amazon. I just save all these files on my computer. I go to Google and I Google Amazon photo or Amazon picture or something like that. And it should be the first link where it's how to order pictures through Amazon. Click on that, upload your pictures, and then order them just like you would if you're printing family pictures. If you don't like Amazon, then you know you can use CVS or Walgreens or Walmart or Shutterfly or whatever your preferred method is. But I use Amazon. It costs me $8 to print all of these out, and they get mailed to my house, and then I slide them in my photo album, and then there we go. I've got that done. There are some on CC Connected that are like on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that you would have to print and then cut and yourself, and you know, that's another option too. I just like that this is quick and easy. So the next are fridge facts. So fridge, like your refrigerator, facts. So these are 8.5 by 11 sheets that have all of the memory work on them, and they have pictures. So where the Flipbook had just words mostly, this one also has some pictures and it's a little bit bigger. These are on CC Connected. There are, as of right now, at least 2 different users who have created, you know, similar but a little bit different. So I'll put both usernames in the comments and you can look at both and pick the one that you like better. But I print these at home and laminate them with my laminator. And then I hole punch them and I put these little rings in them, and then it makes this little flip chart. So week 1, week 2, week 3. Some people will hang them in their bathroom so their kids, you know, have to look at them while they're going to the bathroom and help them remember. Some people hang them on their wall. I just kind of leave them loose like this. And then we've got my memory work wall here. So at the top, I put the week's timeline cards, the clips. The command hook clips are linked in the description, and the little hooks that I use for down here are linked in the description. These files are all from the same person on CC Connected. I'll put that in the description, but I just print those off and put them in page protectors. So they are in these shiny page protectors. I put 1 week and then another week on the back. So I have week 1, flip it around, week 2, and then after week 2, I take it down and put up weeks 3, 4, 5, 6. Them in a notebook like this. So I have Bible, I have geography, history, science, and so each week I just pull out the next weeks if I need to, and then put one back, and they're already all ready to go. And then I have each cycles stored in a binder so that they're ready for when we go through the cycle again. So about these, like I said, the username is linked, but you have to play around with CC Connected to find them. So search by her name, and then search by just the word trifold, because she calls these like trifold something. So search the word trifold, search her name, try the cycle 1 filter on, try the cycle 1 filter off. I had to search like several different things, and I'd search one and I'd find like 3 of the downloads, and then I'd search another one and find another couple of the downloads. It took me a while to collect them all. So you're gonna have to do a little bit of digging to find them. I can't link directly to them. All I can tell you is like the username. So a lot of people ask me about the Bible. So Bible is not in our foundations guide. It's not something we do in community day, but she has a file that has all these Bible ones, and that's this first one right here that I have on my wall. And people are like, where are you finding this Bible stuff? CC has a free download of Bible memory work that goes with each cycle, a specific one for each week. So I'll link that in the comments so you can find it, but that's where she's getting that particular one from. So, all right, of these 3 that I showed you, let me just tell you which ones we use, because it's not really necessary to have all 3. So my first year, we used this wall every single day. We did school here in this room. This is our dining room. And we used that all the time, and we hardly used either of these. This one right here, if your kids cannot read, is really not that necessary, because mostly it's reading, right? I know a lot of families keep one of these in the car, and so that way their kids, as they're driving around, can be flipping through. This is a good, very portable option, but like I said, if your kids can't read, it's not used that much. So for us, my oldest son just started reading last year. We have not used this a whole lot. Mostly I use it for myself when we travel. So that way I don't have to take a whole lot of stuff with me. I just stick this in our bag, and that way whatever week we're on, I can open it up and, you know, read it to the kids or sing it or whatever. So I use it more for myself right now. I feel like they'll use it more as they get older. So that's why I've gone ahead and made them. We just haven't used them a bunch at this age. Now, last year, we started doing a lot more of our school out in our living room, because this room has like tall ceilings and it echoes and it was loud, and my toddler was always into everything. So we actually didn't use our wall as much, and we used this more. I would sit on the couch and I would hold this, and we would, you know, read through our memory work for the week. So this actually became our primary one last year. This is the one my kids use the most. They will, I keep all 3 cycles. Well, I just printed this one, but I had the other 2 cycles on the shelf So even once we got through a cycle, I left it up there. They get them down all the time, and they love to look at them, and they love to look up facts that they, you know, were like, what was it we learned about, blah, blah, blah. They like to look at the presidents. So this has been our most used probably. So if you're gonna pick one of the 3 to do, I would do this. If you don't have a designated schooling area, or you don't want your house to look like a classroom threw up in it, maybe skip the wall and do this, because it's much smaller. You can put it in a smaller space, or just like leave it, you know, don't even hang it on your wall. Leave it out like I do. If you are on the go a ton, then maybe print one of these instead. So think about what works for your family. I went ahead and did them all my first year, kind of saw what worked for us, and have continued. More than anything, it's because I make these videos for you guys and I want to show you the different options. But we use this the most, this the second most, and this the least. All right, now let's talk about specific worksheets that I've printed off. Before we talk about the actual worksheets, I'm gonna show you how to organize them, and then I'll show you which ones I picked for this year. So first of all, I have this Sterilite file box. Walmart, Amazon, Target, they all have them. I'll link to one below in the description. But what I do is I have my weeks labeled. So there's week 1, week 2. Each week has a hanging folder, and I put, like, I go ahead at the beginning of the year in the summer right now, and I print off as much as I can for each week, and I put them down in there. So when week 1 rolls around, I can just pull all of this out, and I've got our worksheets ready for the week, and same with week 2. And, you know, I print all the way up to week 24 if there's stuff that's, like, sometimes things are only for the first 12 weeks, the first 6 weeks. So I just print what I can, go ahead and file them. So this is done. I'm not printing stuff throughout the year, and I just grab it out and hand it out to my kids. So if you've watched my other videos, you've seen this box before, but something new that I'm doing this year is, because I have their stuff in here by week, but I don't just hand them the whole thing at the beginning of the week. I would like take them and I would paper clip them, and each kid would have like one for Monday paper clipped with their name on it, and one for Tuesday paper clipped, and one for Wednesday. And it was like a lot of little bundles of paper for me to keep up with, and then I had to remember every day to hand it to them. So this year I'm doing something easier and more streamlined. And each of my kids has a notebook, and in the notebook, I mean, there's some other stuff that's not CC related, but the part that's important to you is I just got 5 tab dividers, and I labeled them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And so what I will do is at the beginning of the week, I will get the papers out of the file folder, and then I'll divide them up, and I'll put a couple behind the Monday tab and a couple behind Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll skip Thursday because that's our community day, and some behind Friday. Or more realistically, our community day is on Thursday, so I will do this Thursday night, and then they will have Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because that's like our week as far as CC goes. But that way, their worksheets are already divided up for the week, and you'll work on them. And then when we finish them, what I do when they finish the worksheets is I file them back in here. So when week 1 is done, all the week 1 worksheets go back in week 1, and then same thing with week 2, and so on. And then at the end of the year, I've got everybody's work right here, and I can pull it out and put it in my other file area where I keep their completed work at the end of the year. Okay, now worksheets. So this is something that I know a lot of you guys watch just specifically to see the worksheet. So here we go. I waited, like I said, to do this video until after CC released the Sandbox. So the Sandbox is a PDF file with, it's like 80 pages long, and it has a bunch of worksheets, information, suggestions of activities, that kind of stuff to do for every single week. So they have released the first 6 weeks. And so you can get on there and you can download it, and then you can print the whole thing, or you can pick and choose to print. So I wanted to see what they had on there before I did this video to see what I printed off. So yesterday, once I'd seen what the Sandbox was, I took some of the stuff from that and some other stuff I'd saved, and I printed the majority of our stuff. I printed some more today that I'm gonna share in a second. But let me show you some of the things that I picked for this year. Okay, so really the only thing I printed that was not from the Sandbox is some memory work that I found. This is from the same username, which I'll share, but this is one that you trace. So my younger child will do this, and this is one that you just write out the Bible memory work, and so my older child will do that. The other stuff that I printed came from the Sandbox. However, it's also stuff that is found on CC Connected outside of the Sandbox. So I had already found it and saved it. So when I went to look through the Sandbox, I was like, oh, I've already got all this stuff saved on my computer that I was going to print anyway. Now that's just me. Some people love the Sandbox because they love all the activities and all that kind of stuff. I don't really use it for that. I just wanted to see what worksheets that they had, and they already had, those were already on CC Connected. So I recommend join CC Connected, check out the Sandbox, see if that's your thing. And if so, you know, get the first 6 weeks, and then you'll have to like either continue your CC subscription, your CC Connected subscription, or cancel it and then start it back up again 6 weeks from now to get the next 6 weeks, because they only release them 6 weeks at a time. Or if the only worksheets you want are the ones I have, they're already on CC Connected. You just have to dig and find them because they were posted for cycle 1 3 years ago. But anyway, Sherry Ellis makes all of these great, like there's history coloring pages, there's multiplication tables. She just makes a bunch, and some of hers are in the Sandbox and some of them are not. But if you search her username, you should be able to find, there's like some history ones that she did. You should be able to find them from past years. And you can find all 24 weeks if you do it that way. If you just print them from the Sandbox, it'll just be 6 weeks at a time. Same with the geography. We love these maps. I've used them every year. Sandra Homemaker is the CC Connected username. And these are in the Sandbox for 6 weeks. But if you want to get all 24 weeks, they are on CC Connected, at least as of me printing them yesterday. So search her username and look around until you find her cycle 1 geography. You should be able to print all of them at once if you want to go ahead and do that and fill your little file folder here instead of waiting. So that's up to you. So there was a few others from the Sandbox that I printed, but not a ton. Honestly, I just feel like there's not as much on CC Connected this year as there have been in past years. And I don't know if people just haven't gotten to them yet. And as, you know, we get closer, you know, in the next couple weeks, maybe I'll find more stuff. And if I do, I'll update the comments or the description. So read the description of this video, because I can't edit the video after I post it, but I can edit that. And so I can add in if I find some other really great resources that I'm going to print. But otherwise, that's it. And it's enough. Like, I'm not saying, oh no, I wish there was more. And I'm going to share some other things I printed too from other places. But those were really my main ones, where in past years, there were like a bunch of different users that I used. And so on that note, I want to show you a couple of other things I found that are not on CC Connected. So this is the first year that I've really used anything that wasn't on CC Connected. All right, so the first is a set of PDFs that show you how to draw different things, and they line up with our science curriculum. So this is a file from Etsy that is linked below, but it shows you, so this is for week 2, and it's how to draw the kingdom of living things. And so it shows you like how to draw these different items, and they all line up with that week's science sentence. So I did purchase that file to print off for my kids. They love to draw, and so I think they're really going to enjoy getting to mesh the drawing and the science together, and I felt like that was going to be really fun for them. If your kids like to color, there is someone else who makes a whole entire set of coloring pages. They are beautifully done, and they go with all the different memory work for the cycle. And you purchase that download, and then, you know, print it off yourself, and then your kids can color it. My kids are not like really big on coloring, so I did not, I have not gotten that for them. They like to color sometimes, but not enough that I felt like they would want to color that. It's kind of intricate, a little bit older, like maybe for older kids. So I'm gonna link to it in the description so you can check it out and see if it's something your family would like, because I do have friends who have used it with their kids and their kids love it. So it really just depends on what your kids like. But it's really beautiful, and so if coloring is your thing, that's something your kids probably will enjoy. All right, and then the last thing I want to share with you is something I just discovered, and that is a website. Well, the website is not called Sunshine and Oranges, but the blog is called Sunshine and Oranges, and she makes these beautiful, amazing worksheets that you can purchase, and they go perfectly with CC. So I had heard of her before, but didn't really go digging for the stuff until after yesterday, when I was kind of disappointed with what I found on CC Connected. So I found hers, and I was like, where has this been for me the last 3 years? I cannot believe I did not know more about this. So what she has is she has worksheets for every single subject for every single week. So math, science, history, Latin, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So they look something like, there's one of the math ones. It's a fill in the blank. Here is a president's one where you match the fact to the president's. Here is an English one. It's like a code. I just printed these this morning and have not filed them in my thing here. So that's why I have these huge stacks of paper. But some of this is very similar to what's on CC Connected. So you wouldn't necessarily need to print from both places, but some of it is very different. And I went ahead and printed a lot of it because I just really liked a lot of what she had. There's different ways you can purchase these particular downloads. So you can go to her website, which is linked below, and you can just purchase just the math for cycle 1, just the Latin, just whatever. And she has a lot of examples. So you can go on there and you can look through, you know, some of the example pages to see if it's something you like. I think there's even like a free week download you can do. Like you can download 1 free week so you can see what it all looks like for a week. So you can check that out. But what I did is you can purchase a subscription, a monthly subscription that's $6, so similar to CC Connected. And then you can download anything from her site with that $6 subscription. So I did the $6 and I have just downloaded everything. And then I'm printing, you know, the things that I think we're interested in, and then not the things that are appropriate for this cycle, or if I already have something similar from CC Connected. But I just did the $6 so I can print all the things because I felt like that was incredibly reasonable, an amazing price for what all we're getting. Now, as far as age, if you have really young ones, this is not going to be so good for them. They need to be able to read, and there's a lot of writing. So my 7-year-old is going to do fantastic with this. My 5-year-old, he likes to do whatever his big brother is doing. And like I said, he likes to just copy down letters and words right now. So I went ahead and printed him a set 2, and I'll put him in his folders, and if he wants to do them, fine. If he doesn't, fine. But if you just have a young child that's not reading and doesn't write well, this is not going to work for you. I would stick to especially Sherry Ellis's files on CC Connected, because hers is a lot more like circling and cutting, pasting, and, you know, for her younger ones, so that you don't have to do so much writing. But if you have an older one, this is a really great option. Also, if you do not want to print and sort and bind, or, you know, file or whatever, you can actually purchase this whole entire set as a pre-bound book through Amazon, and that's linked below. You can purchase 12 weeks at a time, so you can purchase 1 book for weeks 1 through 12 and 1 for 13 through 24, or you can purchase 1 for the whole entire year. And that is like straight up easy button. You just buy it and then it sends it to your house from Amazon, and you have it in 2 days, and every single week is done, and you don't have to do any printing. Like, really a really nice option. See, I had seen those on Amazon, but there were no pictures, and so I was hesitant to even purchase. I didn't know that she also had a separate website where you could buy the downloads. Now that I've seen them, I'm like raving about them, and I want to tell everyone about them, and I think they're fantastic. So anyway, look on her website where you can download this stuff, see if you like the format, see if it looks like something your kid can do, and then decide, do you want to download and print them yourself, or do you want to just buy them from Amazon? But they're available both places. So there's that. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a second, and I'm gonna share with you like my recommendations based on if you want to, if you have more time than money, or if you have more money than time, as far as what I would recommend. So if you're wanting to keep your costs low and you are fine with spending time printing things, I would personally say spend $6 and get CC Connected for 1 month at least, and dig through and find these usernames and download all of their stuff and go through and pick the ones that work for you and print them out and sort them. That is time consuming, but it's not very expensive. Just the ink from your printer and your time. I just did it yesterday while I was watching the Olympics, and, you know, sent my kids upstairs to grab stuff off the printer while I was filing things. So that worked out fine for me. You can also have this stuff sent to like Staples, Office Max. CC has a discount at one of those places, maybe both. I've never used it. We just print at home. But you can do it that way too, and you can have it bound. You know, there's different options, but that is like your most inexpensive, but will take you some time. Another option would be to do the $6 monthly subscription to Sunshine and Oranges. download, print. This is not nearly as time consuming as CC Connected, but it's only gonna be, you know, like for the older kids. So there's that. If you want a little bit easier of an option, do your $6 for CC Connected. Get the Sandbox, download that. Don't worry about the file sharing. Don't even go, you know, poking around on there. Just easy button Sandbox, print it off or have it sent to the printer, you know, up to you what you do with that. But that would be kind of like my next tier up if you're wanting to keep costs low, but you just don't have the time to sit and pick and choose and print and sort and all that kind of stuff. If you are not part of a community and CC Connected is very expensive for you, then Sunshine and Oranges is a great option, as well as the coloring pages I shared and the drawing science pages that I shared. So go that direction. You'll, you know, save yourself a lot of money because you can still use CC Connected, but it's a lot more expensive if you're not part of the community. If you are like, I don't have time, I do not care to print stuff, I do not want to sort things, I do not want to do it, I'm busy, whatever, go to Amazon and get those pre-bound Sunshine and Oranges workbooks and have them sent to your house. So that's gonna be more expensive because those cost more than printing. But for some people, they would much rather spend the money and have that done just super easy and not have to do all the fuss themselves. So there's some different options for you. And again, do as much or as little of this as you want. It's up to you. And so in the description, I've shared a couple of blog posts that I use to plan activities. They are people who have already put together ideas for each week. And so every week I will just pull those up on my computer and go through there and see what they've shared. Sometimes it's worksheets, sometimes it's YouTube videos, sometimes it's like activities to do. And then I just pick and choose from those if I want to do those with my kids. Already curated. I don't have to go searching all over the place. I just use those 3 main resources as far as what I'm gonna do with my kids. I've also shared several blog posts that are book matchups, or share some picture books for cycle 1, books you can find on Amazon, that kind of stuff. What I like to do is check my local library and see if they have them, check them out, and then if they're ones that we really enjoy, purchase them to add to my home library so we have them to read over and over again for future cycles, that kind of thing. But there are some awesome people out there who have already collected those things and have those available. As far as YouTube goes, a couple of years ago, there were some great playlists where you could find a lot of YouTube videos that were put together by cycle. Now the YouTube has changed its restrictions as far as what it allows for children and, you know, like the restrictions it puts on stuff. That is not very easy to find. So unfortunately, I haven't found as many good YouTube videos. But one thing that I love is CC Happy Mom. She makes these fantastic geography songs, and that's what we have used to learn our geography memory work the last 2 years. And she just has a channel with all those on there. I sat down and made playlists out of them so that it would be really easy to find them because they were kind of all jumbled and hard to find. So I'm gonna link to her channel and also to the playlist I made for cycle 1, and it has all 24 weeks in order already there. So if you love them as much as I do for geography, those are set and ready to go. And so I think that is it. I know that was a lot of information, but thank you for hanging with me, and I hope that this is helpful as you are planning for this upcoming year. Again, just take what you liked from what I shared and use that, and leave anything that does not suit you. And remember that, you know, like your kids are going to learn a ton no matter how you put things together and what you do. It's going to be a great year for you guys. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful year. Hopefully I've covered all the things. If not, of course, leave a comment and ask a question, or if you have another great resource you want to share, or, you know, something like that, leave it in the comments below. But hopefully that'll at least give you a good start as you're planning and organizing all your stuff for this upcoming year. All right, bye guys.